Here with reaction, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is with us. Sir, how are you?
I'm well.
Let's talk about these trips. Some 15, I think you've confirmed that Hunter Biden flies with Daddy. I know Peter Schweitzer makes the case in Secret Empires that 2 weeks after Hunter flew with his father to Asia and stopped in China, then the Bank of China, the $1 billion deal that became a $1.5 billion deal was struck. As far as we have been able to find, Hunter has no experience in that, just like he has no experience in energy. Do you believe that Hunter was enriching himself on these trips vis-a-vis the free travel of his father?
There's no question Hunter Biden was enriching himself and his family while riding on Air Force Two at the expense of the American taxpayer. But what's more concerning is what Joe Biden's role was in all of this. And again, Sean, this is an investigation of Joe Biden. And what we're doing now is we're putting a timeline together on all these bank transfers that we've identified, all the bank wires. We're trying to now put a timeline with communications that Hunter had with his father, with his so-called associates. And we're finding that now he was on Air Force Two a whole lot more than anyone thought. So Joe Biden's role in this family influence peddling scheme continues to grow on a daily basis. I mean, he was front and center in this. They can claim plausible deniability all they want, but I am here to tell you, Sean, Joe Biden was front and center. He met with every one of these people that he claimed he never met with and never spoke to, and we're putting together the timeline where Hunter Biden was traveling to many of these countries on Air Force Two while Joe Biden was vice president.
And now we know from emails from Hunter's laptop that the person that was in charge of money at Rosemont Seneca, Eric Sherwin, Hunter was asking, which account should I pay Dad's home repair bills on? Hunter said he gives half his income to Pops. Hunter complained bitterly about paying for those home repairs. Then we got, are you going to bring in Tony Bobulinski and ask him about 10% for the big guy?
Yeah, I expect to see Tony Bobulinski in front of an Oversight Committee hearing very soon. I think he wants to tell his story, and I know the American people want to hear the story. So we're definitely going to hear from Bobulinski very soon. With respect to Sherwin, we've been trying to communicate with Sherwin, but look, Sherwin's going to have to answer for all of these transactions. And where you reference, Sean, where Hunter Biden was paying for things for Joe Biden, in these accounts, these are the accounts we're now asking for, and these are the accounts we're probably going to head to court in the very near future to try to obtain.
They have stonewalled your investigation the entire time. It took a long time for you to get the suspicious activity reports, the 1023 report. Yep. You had to threaten contempt of Congress for Director Wray before he finally handed them over. Yep. Now the National Archives is claiming that Joe Biden, who is using aliases or pseudonyms, Robert Peters, Robin Ware, J.R.B. Ware, and they're saying that you need to get permission from Joe Biden to get these pseudonym email accounts that are critical to your oversight investigation, and you're going to need Barack Obama's approval. That's never going to happen. That sounds to me like they're covering for Joe and they're trying to run out the clock so you can't finish your investigation. What tools do you have at your disposal to expedite this?
Well, I think there's consensus in our conference now that we're going to have to go to impeachment inquiry. Obviously, that'll be Speaker McCarthy's call, but I feel like we're there now, Sean. I feel like that's imminent. And I believe that that will be a tool in our toolbox when we go to court with our subpoena. Look, we've requested these documents. The House Oversight Committee has legislative jurisdiction over the National Archives. They've stonewalled us in the Biden mishandling of classified documents. Now we hope they don't stonewall us in the pseudonym request. Yeah. There's 5,400 emails in at least 3 different pseudonyms from Joe Biden.
Have you seen any of these 5,400? Have you seen any of them?
I've seen a few. Yes, I have. And I've seen one that had Hunter Biden copied. And that's the most concerning thing. That's where the Democrats have gone stone cold silent in Washington in their defense of Joe Biden. There was an email that was to a pseudonym that was Joe Biden that had Hunter copied on it, and it was an email about Ukraine policy at the same time that Devin Archer testified that the owners of Burisma were squeezing Hunter to call Washington for help. And that's when Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin says, oh, well, he could have called anybody in Washington, and I'm sure they just talked about the weather. That's not true.
I want to make sure my timeline's right. You correct me if I'm wrong. October of 2015, it became official after an interagency study. It officially became an Obama administration policy to give the $1 billion in loan guarantees to Ukraine because they made enough progress regarding corruption. Same year, 2015, December 4th, Hunter is in Dubai with Burisma executives asking for exactly what you mentioned, D.C. help. They called Joe Biden in D.C., get him on the phone. 5 days later, he's in Ukraine, leveraging $1 billion to get a prosecutor fired. Son of a bee, they fire the guy in 6 hours. And Hunter Biden, as a result, continues to get paid for work by his own admission he had no qualifications being paid for. Is that correct? Is that timeline right?
That's 100% correct. And that's very concerning. And think about this. That's what the first Trump impeachment was about. Donald Trump simply asking Zelensky what he knew about that. That was the quid pro quo. The quid pro quo was Joe Biden withholding American tax dollars to Ukraine in exchange for them firing the prosecutor who was investigating his son Hunter for corruption.
Last question. Are you investigating bribery and money laundering as it relates to the President of the United States?
Yes, that's our investigation. We know that the president's son committed money laundering. We're investigating whether or not Joe Biden committed money laundering, but we're pretty certain he's committed some pretty serious
and 9 members of the Biden family.
The entire Congress will be concerned about.
And 9 members of this family got paid through these shell corporations. You've stated that fact. And we believe now you have evidence that Joe Biden benefited financially himself, although that's not even what the statute calls for, correct?
I think so, yes.
Wow. James Comer, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.